If you've been on TikTok for a while, you must have heard about a ton of Africans telling you that Europeans stole Africa's resources. Now, there's a lot to say about that. First and foremost, most of these resources are still in Africa, and they're not being stolen by Europeans. They're actually being sold to Europeans by the African state leadership. Your own elites are robbing you. It's not us doing it, not anymore. The real issue, of course, is why aren't Africans using their own resources to do things? Why does Mr. Beast have to go to Kenya to build water wells? Why didn't the Kenyan government do it themselves? I suppose the Kenyan government could have done it themselves. They just chose not to do it. Nigeria is now a country of almost 220 million people, the largest country in Africa. But they only produce about 10% of the electricity that a small country like Hungary. Hungary only has 10 million people, but they produce 10 times as much electricity as Nigeria does. I mean, I know you want to have your Wakanda, right? But do you expect white people to give it to you? No, you're supposed to build it yourself. Having said all this, it is of course obvious that we Europeans in the North need to prepare for a possible, potential African rise in terms of technology and therefore also in terms of military capacity. And that means we in Europe need to already start looking ahead and thinking ahead about how we are going to win the war against Africa, because there will be a future war between Europe and Africa.
And some of you will tell me that what we are saying on this app is not going anywhere. You can see that they are hearing everything we are saying. Everything the youths are saying, we are hearing. If I show you the kind of DMs that I have, the kind of things people send in my DM, you'll be shocked that I'm still on this app talking.
When Britain claimed Kenya in the early 1900s, they didn't just rule it, they took it. The most fertile farmland in the country was renamed the White Highlands. And this wasn't just a name, this was law. Africans, especially the Kikuyu, who had lived there for centuries, were forced off their own soil. And entire communities were moved to subpar reserves. And if that wasn't bad enough, Britain instituted taxes on the Africans that they could only pay by working for the settlers. Hut tax, poll tax, labour tax, all of these were forcing people into wage slavery. Movement as well was tightly controlled. Africans needed passes to leave their reserves, and wages, they were set incredibly low so that people were poor and dependent on the work. This wasn't about civilization, it was about creating a permanent class of cheap labour for Britain's plantations and railways. By the 1940s, people had had enough. And political groups like the Kikuyu Central Association started demanding land and rights. And out of that frustration, the Mau Mau rebellion kicked off in 1952, with fighters swearing secret oaths to reclaim their country. And how did Britain respond? With overwhelming violence. Entire villages were wiped out and communities rounded up and put into barbed wire camps. And inside those camps, torture was routine. Beatings, sexual assaults and starvation, and people were hanged after sham trials. The British official count stands at 11,000 Mau Mau people killed, but Kenyan survivors put that number higher, far higher, with a lot of civilians being caught in the crossfire. For decades, Britain denied all of this. In school books, they spoke of loyal Africans and terrorists, and the camps were airbrushed out of history. It wasn't until survivors sued the British government in 2000 that all of this information came out. In 2013, the UK government admitted what had happened and paid compensation. But even then, they called it an isolated incident and not the brutal system that it...
The conqueror writes history. They came, they conquered, and they moved. Now you don't expect people to invade us to write the truth about us. They will always write negative things about us. And they have to do that because they have to justify their invasion. I know that my people were there. We don't write our history. It has always been handed down to us orally by our elders. Of course, the white man came and he writes history. In fact, you don't know anything about any place until the white man gets there. The white man comes to any place, nothing lives. It's only when he comes and says, "Boof, I've discovered you, now you exist," which is ridiculous. No, again, that I am right. And because I am right, I know I will win, because the truth shall never be covered by lies.
I mean, it's the subjugation and the exploitation of Africa that has enabled the West to impersonate a superior civilization. It's like a con man, you know, a drifter who tries to convince people that he's some sort of an aristocrat or a monarch or something. Well, he needs to have some kind of a display of a monarch's wealth in order to be convincing. And that's been the whole basis for what the West claims about itself being superior. The whole basis has always been that they're materially successful. So, okay, today you have iPhones and technology, you have a high standard of living and so forth. So that means that you must be better. You must be more intelligent. You must be more evolved. You must be more civilized, more advanced.
Welcome back, family. And I just want you to go back and listen to that speech of that white man and try to understand what he was trying to say. Because in my little understanding, I grew up knowing that all that is being done in Africa, all that has been done, all the damages that has caused in Africa, which are making some African to suffer today, which are making the African youths not to have the life they deserve, not to have any job opportunities in their countries. It is all caused by African leaders. There is a truth, but not everything's truth. Because all these African leaders, everything that they are doing in their countries, it is not that they are doing this by their will. It is not that they are doing this because they want to do. But let's not deny the fact that that African leaders today, they are still working under the gunpoint. Because everything that's being done in Africa today, it is being controlled by the system. Africa never got independence. Africa never got its freedom. Because if you can remember the clip that I played earlier of Dr. Arikana as he was trying to speak about the African independent colonization, he clearly said that there was during the time of independence, African leaders were issued some documents which recommended that they are just being given independence, but they have to sign such certain documents which explains that they are still being under colonization. They are still living under a colonization rule. So any leader who declined to sign that document, there was a gun that was written his name.
Between 1958 and 1961, France did something absolutely horrible. France made the Francophone African countries, and I don't even want to use that terminology, but I only use it for the purposes of conversation. The 14 countries which were formally, but still colonized by the French, they were forced to sign a document that they called the Pact for the continuation of colonization. You heard me. The Pact for this continuation of colonization. If you want your independence, you must sign this. Guinea, Secretary said absolutely not. Mali said absolutely not. France, pack your bags and go on back home.
And this is happening today because all these African leaders are puppets. And why are they being puppets? They are doing this because they have no any other option. You have seen what has happened for the former great leaders of Africa like Patrice Lumumba, Kwame Nkrumah, and Thomas Sankara. What were they committed which cost their life? Their main crime that they committed is only to stand by the truth. Is only coming to speak about the unity of Africa, because this is the best and the great threat that the West don't want to hear anybody speaking about in Africa. Once you come out and start to explain, do something, speak something which includes unity, which can gather all Africans together, which can bring all nations in Africa together and speak one voice, start to understand everything that happened and maybe stand by the truth. That is the best and the best crime that will be committed, which will cost your life. So whenever the white people comes out today and try to defend themselves that everything that we believe that they committed to Africa is not that way. He was saying that they never stole African resources, but we give to them. African leaders sell out to them. We don't deny that. But why are they doing this? If you can remember in Burkina Faso before the coming of Ibrahim Traore, French Empire was the one dominating this country, and they are the one who are mining these minerals or these resources direct from the source. They were the one controlling all these mineral sites. So they were the agreements was that the Burkinabes were to mine these minerals, but after they are mined, who will come to buy these minerals? They are the French empires. The French governments are the one who came, who was supposed to come and buy these minerals, and they are coming to buy with the weak currencies, with a little amount of monies, which cannot help or boost in any way the economy of Burkina Faso. So that was the agreement. When you go today in South Africa has the ability to build every kind of flying machines, but the agreement binds them not to do that, not to do so. The agreement recommends them only to assemble things like car or moving vehicles, and they are not just assembling these parts to build up or to come up with a fully developed car, but they have to put in more funds just to assemble these machines. And these are the agreements. So whenever you see a leader like a Julius Malema coming out to fight back these people, to fight back the power of the white empires in his country, this is what they're trying to fight. When Ibrahim Traore stood up and said that he don't want to associate with the French empires, where it came to the point where he expelled their power, all their military bases in Burkina Faso, that is what he was trying to do. First of all, when you are in Africa and you are an African leader, the first thing you have to do is to fight the empires, to fight the system. When you can be able to fight the system and make sure that you work according to your own policies, that's when you can manage the issue that we're speaking about, the independence. But this is very hard and difficult. That's why you've seen many African leaders who were assassinated. They were taken down. So anything that these people are coming to explain today, they're coming to justify everything that they did to Africa. They're coming to justify the genocide they committed to Africa. They're coming to justify the manipulation, the rape, the killings that they did to Africa. Because today, just try to look in something that with the issue or the incident that has happened in Sudan, in Congo. They came to convince the president of Congo that that he has to give out his mineral 70% just to US so that they can guarantee him security. These people are the one who caused all these problems that are happening today in Congo. Everything that is going on in Congo today, it was created since the conquer of Belgium Empire, King Leopold, and who committed a genocide and killed 20 million Congolese. Since that time, Congo has never been the same. Congo has never found peace. The Congolese has never been able to settle in these countries. They are just going around some African countries to live like refugees. And the same people who caused all this problem, they're now today coming as saviors. And they're coming as saviors because all that is happening today is something that was already planned. They come to cause all these problems because they believe that one day we as Africans, we will need them, and they will come as saviors. And when they will come as saviors, that's when they will come and capture our countries fully. Because today, once Congolese government signed the agreements with the US that they are coming to take minerals from this country 7%, it means that they are the one controlling now the government of Congo. They are the one now controlling the resources of Congo, because if Congo is only allowed to control 30%, then it means that these people are the people that are the final say to the resources of Congo. Now today, no any other country can go and have access to the minerals of Congo. US only the final say to the Congolese resources. And now today, you want to tell us that all that is happening today, we don't have to blame you. We have to blame our greedy African leaders. It is okay. We believe and agree that our African leaders are greedy. But who made them to be as how they are? They are not only doing these things because they want to do, but because you are the one who instructed them to do. Everything today they are doing is because you started by giving them the huge amount of loans. And these loans, once you are issuing them these loans, it had some limitations, policies, some rules that you are giving them loan, but they can't go and build roads within this amount of loans that they are taking from you, so that they keep these countries to be poor. They keep the situation of these countries to be worse, so that you get the reason, or you have the reason on how you will be coming each and every day to introduce your new policies, your new way of governance. Make these people not to grow, not to develop, and just growing up knowing that the only people who can come and save these countries are the white people. And now today, the Africans are awake. We've seen all that's happening in the great empires. France is collapsing. US is collapsing. The city today they don't have it. When you go to France, the government of France has no the final say. They can't. They have no authority over their people. The people have turned out. They are demonstrating, blocking everywhere. They demand some answers. The government is now broke. The government has gone bankrupt. They cannot be able to pay some. The same empires are running out of debts. At this time, I'm so grateful to see that all Africans have come to know the truth that was hidden many years ago, and now we have come to know all that happened. We have come to know all that happened, and we are here to defend and to reclaim everything that was happened. At this time, I don't believe if there is any African youth who don't know the truth, and that's why we are coming out, because we have gone through the history. We have gone through the history of Africa, and we know everything that happened. And that's why today we are coming out. We are coming to the light to reclaim our destiny, to reclaim our freedom, to preach the unity. At this time, this is not the time of you coming and tell Africans how to govern their countries. This is not the time that you have to come and force Africans to do what they want to do. They are not interested in. So all that the white people are coming to explain to the world today, it is too late, because the truth is out. And everything today, which has been in the dark side for a very long time, over 400 years ago, has come to the limelight. And now we are here to watch everything that is happening. That's why we say every time that their fall, our rise, as they cry out due to the problem that are facing them, we celebrate, because they deserved this. They caused many problems. Today in Africa, we still have many people who are still traumatized for all that happened during slavery time. They detained Africans. They enslaved them. They silenced them. But they never erased them. They never erased the roots of the black people. And that's why today the black community is rising, is gaining more power. So this is the time that the truth has to be told. This is the time that we have to know the truth, and we have to reclaim all that was done. Just tell me to have the comment section. Do you listen? If you have really listened to the speech of that white man and what he had to say about Africa, and from there, I believe that you must have something to say. And if so, let's meet the comment section and really know what do you feel about this. What do you feel when you hear some white people coming out and just speaking some things that we already know the truth, some things that we believe that is not having any means or any meaning today in our life? So this is the time they have to come and say the truth, because the truth is already out. Until next time we come and do the same, thank you very much for staying in. Thank you for your time. Thank you for staying in. Thank you for the support. Don't forget to come back. And I love you. I appreciate your support. May you be blessed wherever you're watching from, and be blessed.